Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Ivan, Don, David, Erdy, Sergio, Rob, Ed, Matt, Will, Don, Hugh, B, Kimberly. Welcome. Don't recognize your name, but welcome. Gayton, Swinburne, Francois, Darren, Mark, Jan, Diane, and Kimberly T. That's the one I recognize. My favorite subscriber right there. Gilbert, Ted, Cliff, Cosmic, John, General Rush, good to see you, sir. As always, S. Kohler, Marianne, Kevin, Pat, Kay, Pauline, Jody, Carmen, Al. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show. And hey, Netflix earnings came out. We discussed the fact that it might be due a correction back to the roadmap line right there. And, well, down, what, 33? 2%? I mean, it's kind of funny how down 33, you're like, oh my gosh, but that's only 2%. That's like big numbers get big numbers, big moves, small percentage is still big dollar moves. So be careful playing this one. That was the last trade I would have like even considered over here. That worked out in a few days, and we went on up to the 1272, and we just kind of been hanging in this vicinity. Now, does it have to come back? I mean, that's the 1618. Excuse me, that was the 1272. 1618. Does it have to come back? No, doesn't have to. No. Does it have to go higher? No, doesn't have to do anything. Now, if we backtest this zone right here and then pull back up through, say, the high from yesterday, probably going on up to the next fib line. Probably somewhere up around 1500. Somewhere up there. Now looking at the numbers for Netflix. Looking at the numbers. You see, not huge. It doesn't take big money to move it $1. Only $400 million. Market cap, enterprise value. Look at the price to sales, 10, reasonable. Kind of hangs in here. It's a little richer than historical, but not bad. Look at the net income. Ooh, man, their COGS are pretty high. Cost of doing business. Their expenses and adjustments, $2 billion. Net income, not the most awesome, even on an annual basis, but they are climbing. Getting there, moving up. But that revenue compared to the net income, high cost ratio right there. A lot of costs in making that money. Part of that's carrying a lot of debt. That's a big risk with that giant debt candle sitting out there. I don't know. I think until they can get that debt number down, it's probably a dangerous, like, as long as everything keeps going their way, it's okay. But if something happens, I mean, look how many times. Hey, thank you, Barbara. I appreciate that. Becoming a channel member. Look how many times we got their net income almost 3 times to cover that debt. They should get rid of that debt. Should work on get rid of that debt. Debt's the money of slaves, even for a company. So Nvidia is going to be, or Netflix, I mean, is going to be beholden to that debt until they can get rid of it. I've got $7 billion in cash. Why? I don't know. I don't run a big company like that, but not the. I don't feel like that's the smartest thing to be doing, carrying that much debt load. for us, for this size company. Now, their market cap's only $500 billion. You look at the 8 market cap over here, infinite market cap. There we go. Pop that up. Do I already have that up? It says switch tab. I don't know. It beats me. Beats me. I don't know. Anyway, all the way down here, $500 billion to Netflix. Number 25. They've got a... This can double pretty easily. And it just puts them up, not even the top 10, puts them up right here with Berkshire Hathaway. Now, is that the kind of company that can do that? I don't know. I don't know. Netflix, they did beat on the top, beat on earnings, beat on the bottom, beat on revenue, but expectations not as rosy as the market wanted. We kind of have this absolutely beautiful correction potential. A, B, C, right there. Look at that. And if we did this, back tested the breakouts, that would be a beautiful opportunity for this to bounce again. So that's what I gotta say about that one. And jumping over here, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. Just because I predict things and sometimes I get lucky doesn't mean I'll ever get lucky again. This presentation intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining, not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instrument, including stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries. Stuff from me. Don't buy stuff from gurus. Most of us are full of crap. I mean, even I can be full of crap. I mean, I can get it wrong. Make sure you trust whoever you're buying stuff from. If you desire personal financial advice, hire and consult a financial advisor. Make sure you trust them too, because you're going to trust them with your money. Now, looking back over here. Dun, 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 dun. Looky. Dun, 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 dun. This is the all-time too. All-time. Across 9,000 bucks. Dun, 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 dun. On the 50K challenge. Almost 10,000 bucks. Right there. Ching, ching, ching. Booked some profits yesterday. Profits. And look, we're finally past the threshold where we have 3 months was 2 days ago. So now we're actually getting on to having 4 months of history in this account. I like it. Just in case you're new here, haven't seen this, I started an account. I refunded this Robinhood account on tax day, or tax week. Took the first trade on like the 16th of April, and I'm on a mission to build this into an account that can reliably generate about $50,000 of profit per month. Now, it's not a one-time fund thing. This is building an account. This is like, I put some money in, I find more money in, one of my other trading accounts does better than that account than I expect in that account. I take that money and put it into this. This is building an account that I can count on right here. And with this P&L, it's like, where's the losses? Yeah, there's one right there. Little baby one. There was another one in there somewhere, but it got eaten up. So didn't end up being all that bad. We look at the, I think it's the trades. Yeah, there you go. There's all the trades right there for the last, this year starting, like I said, the 16th, 17th. Right there was the first trade. One big red day, and everything else looks pretty darn rosy. How you consistently make money? Hit the subscribe button. Keep following JT for more. I actually post the open positions to channel members. So we did book out. I actually rolled this one. So this one I booked out a little bit of profit and rolled it forward to next week. See what else we got that I can talk about. Yeah, that was before UAL. That's the one. This is the other one that booked out right here. That one booked out yesterday. Nice gain. Offset that Rocket Lab loss right there. That Rocket Lab loss was just rolling forward to a new contract. Those are probably going to get called out, those Rocket Lab. I'm not going to get back in Rocket Lab right now. So moving back over, talking about our RKLB. Yeah, so this went way crazy. It's going for that 55. Man, I did not expect that to happen. That's wild. So I sold the 41s right there under that 1272. And it didn't even it slowed down at this 1448. It did not slow down here. It just like a rocket ship with a rocket lab right up there. Until we get another pullback, I'm going to be off of this one. It's starting to look a little exponential. If you got exposure, consider where you're getting off the train. We can hit that 55 and come all the way back down. Look where the roadmap line is right now. Holy bananas. It's more than a 50% potential downside right there on a retrace. Be careful. It's your money. I mean, remember, it's not being wrong in the market that costs you big money. If you caught this move, that's big money. If you're shooting for higher and you're wrong because it starts pulling back, it's not being wrong. It costs you money. It's staying wrong and watching it come all the way back down to your entry. That's where you lose money. So don't let a winner turn into a loser. If you caught Rocket Lab with me, please take care of yourself. Book profit. I'm going to be closing those out at the end of the day at 41 because it's going to get called away. There's no ability for me to roll it. Now, the only crazy thing would be if this drops all the way back down through 41. I'm probably going to still let it get called away. That'd be a crazy retrace. So there you go on Rocket Lab. DOCU. Dang. I have 78s. I got put those shares last week. I sold 78s against it. I'll have to look at rolling those forward. Not too bad. DJT. I put out a video about DJT on the channel in case you missed it. This one just kind of hovering right now. I have those 1850s sold. We're at 19. I don't own shares at this point. I'm just selling puts, trying to get put the shares, but so far that's not happened. So upside roadmap line, and then technically we got the bigger potential rally all the way back up here to the maybe even outperform here. We've got a nested measured bounce setup. A, B, C, absolutely beautiful correction, and another measured bounce. So that's nested measured bounces. That can be really powerful for crazy upside. It doesn't even have the fundamental numbers here don't even make sense. I mean, they're like sales is like $3 million or something like that annually. I mean, just $3 million annual revenue, and they spend a crap ton of money. So, and financially, this is only just as playing a stock pattern basically. So we'll see what happens. That's just hype train. UAL, book that one out. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. That may come back to the roadmap line after we get done here. I will watch for that. I am not going back after it at the current moment. DAL also needs a pullback. I'm not going back after that one at the current moment. Well, I did switch over to this one. We did hold a support here. Been grinding on that roadmap line. There was good premium. So I'm going to chase this one a little bit here for the 50K challenge, at least for this week. We'll see. Come back at it next week. And then Chewy. Right down absolutely beautiful correction right to the roadmap line. Could we go a little deeper? Yeah, we could come on down to 35. Have those 37 sold. We're at 38. Looking pretty good. Might go on up to 50. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. So that's, in a nutshell. There you go. There you go. Look at the S&P. Dun, 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 dun. Still on the train. There's the target, 63, 65. Same target we've had since we broke back above over here. This is a weekly chart pattern. If you're new here, haven't seen it, this was actually a weekly chart bounce. Right there. Boom. Rallying up. And I need to do one thing here real quick. Let's see if I can pull up. Will you let me pull up the other? Well, that's cool. Even though I saved that freaking thing. Well, let's go screenshot it. And I was gonna pull up I thought I saved it, but I didn't. So the danger. If you're new here, I'm very concerned about this current pattern here. Let's go get it. Go get it right here. Let's just remove that off of here. Move that off of here. So look at this right here. That high, got that low. Yeah, we didn't even get to the 1448. But look at this when we, oops, we grab this here. And stop putting extra stuff on the screen. There we go. Pop that up. Back to current. I'll show you this. This gets really wild. This is why I'm really nervous about this pattern here. Look what we have cooking here. Trying to make it the same size. See this chop right here? That chop right there. Big drop to the roadmap line. Big drop to the roadmap line. Recovery. Recovery. Couple candles above the breakout. Couple candles above the breakout. If we get one of these big red candles that drops back through. Be careful. Now, this little snapshot was a 3-day. This is a weekly. This back here was from 2007. After we did this high right here, we did a 57% correction on the S&P 500. Ooh, ugly. If we complete this pattern and actually follow through, could be talking about a bigger correction since it's higher time frame, bigger, longer, last longer, go deeper. What does a 57% correction look like on the S&P right now? Looks like that. That's 58%, down to 2,500, basically. Holy moly. And that would likely happen in not one big move, but it would probably happen in, it would probably take us here, here, here. Absolutely beautiful correction. A, B, and then the crash would be here, C. So this is why I'm concerned, because that pattern looks exactly like 2007, the way we topped out. So be careful. Your money. I'm perma cautious. I like to make money, not lose money. So I am cautious about what's coming next down the pipe. So hit that button if you want to stay up to date. We'll keep this updated as we go. There is downside risk. It is elevated. We have been quite extended. As you can see, this has been a heck of a rally off this 2009 low. The party doesn't go on forever. Despite this party lasting off the Great Depression, this party's lasted way longer than most of us have ever been alive. And I'm sure there's a few of you, maybe, that were hanging around in the Great Depression, but my grandparents that were no longer with us. That was the last big correction. That went from right in here to right over here when we got done with this. That was about 14 years. Now we did another one of those back here. Another one of these big corrections. This one went a little high and then came on down. And then had a little trouble breaking out after that. So that was another big correction. So that was the 70s, 30 years later. And this one. And guess what? We're almost 30 years later. Be careful. Market goes in these cycles. It has nothing to do with anything we can manage. Now, yesterday I was talking about the DGS2, the 2-year constant maturity rate, and how the Fed funds rate always chases it. And right now we are just hanging with our homies right here. Why won't they cut rates? Because they don't want to go below the market rate. The market, this is Trump beating his drum like, oh, they're going to cut rates. But if they cut below the market rate, chaos unleashes in the market. They're always chasing the market rate. But right now they went above the market rate. Every time in the past we've been above the market rate, some sort of financial crisis has developed in the market. Starting all the way back at .com bust, financial crisis. That rolled right into great financial crisis, housing bust. That rolled right into, oh, imagine this. COVID, actually, it was a multi-part correction here. This started back here. Isn't that crazy? Anyway, there you go. Wild stuff. So yesterday I kind of did the proportions here and showed how, well, this is currently the top right here and the top we did here. 2 times bigger. This little pause right here, this little pause right here, almost 2 times bigger. We'll be out at the end of the month into August maybe. We'll get 2 times bigger. So what comes next? Do we get the leg down? That's going to be that's not going to be good for the markets if we do that. I'm just telling you. We do some kind of big flush. That's not good in the market. Good at all. I speculated we might climb higher. So I might see higher rates before we cut rates out like crazy. So be careful. All right, ES action overnight. Let's take a look. See what we're cooking with. Almost made. Look at that move. Look at that beautiful pop right up to the 1.1448, 90% of the way to 1272. Retested the breakout and set to go a little bit higher. A little bit higher now, 63.71, if we can hold on to that. Otherwise, if this was the high right here, we may come down to test the 15-minute roadmap line. If that doesn't hold, 30 minutes. If that doesn't hold, 1 hour. If that doesn't hold, 4 hour. One of these is going to be the final little squeak. And we've got that bigger target right up there, corresponding with the large pullback into the April low. Why'd I switch to ES futures? Because it gave me the overnight price action. So that target up there is 63.83, right there. A little bit higher, not a lot of room left. Not a lot of squiggles left on this chart. And then we may see a pullback. So ultimately 6,600, maybe where we can top out. If we get to retrace, retest the breakout, we may be able to push this on up 6,600 right there. In Q, almost to that big picture target, 23.4. Russell, just grind in this area. We did go a little higher than I thought we might. Let's pause. Let's say, yeah. Went on through this. Hey, maybe that's a 5 wave up. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got a retrace. Well, do we hold this area or do we come on down a little deeper to 618? That 4. Well, what? That's not very good 5 wave up. I wouldn't say it's very reliable at this point. That's possible we could find support here, but that's where the 618 is, and that would be with the 2, which makes the proportions of this thing all screwed up. It'll be a deep retrace to go higher, but if we do that and hold, could go higher. Could. CL chopping around. Back up to the daily because there's no small time frame clarity. We're just stuck in this resistance. I've talked about this for several days. Here's the support. Here's the resistance. We've got the 618. We've got the prior high. We've got this downtrend of highs that's come, goes way on back a couple years. We've got this low from 2023. That zone right there providing support. Then we've got the 618 right under it. Then we've got the low we made back here before the, for the dust up between Israel and Iran. And if we break down, probably going down to the 50s. If we break up, we're probably going up to the 90s. And if we stay in between the goalposts, we're probably just keeping going sideways. Simple as that. Gold, just churn and churn and churn and burn and burn and burn, and not really providing much clarity here. Tight range. Might be able to pop higher. I don't know. Big picture, it needs this further correction. But the longer we go sideways, the more that looks like we're not going to flush out right now. So could just extend it higher. We'll see what happens. Bitcoin. Looked like we were going to do a breakout last night and took it right back. Slam. Dun, 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 dun. Index B. Go. Index B. Look at the. So we've got a whole. If we're going to be bullish, we're going to maintain this bullish. ABC, nice correction, holding the 618. We've got to hold that low we made last night at 118 or this morning. Yes, early this morning. Got to hold that. If we start back below 118, not looking good. No bueno. Not good. Watch out for that right there. I need to take just a moment break. I'll be right back. I got to go check on something really quickly. I'll be right back. It's that or in the stream. I think previous times we wanted to keep going, so I will be right back. Give me just a second. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. There I am. I'm back. All right. There we go. There we go. Sorry about that. Had to go check on something really quickly. And so there's Bitcoin. And listen for the flush. And Ethereum index. ETH. Climbing. This one looking pretty good. And Sol USD. Check this out right here. Ramp it up pretty good. XRP. So crypto still looking pretty good. Still, that one kind of a big pullback, but that yesterday those leveraged XRPs, XXRT, or what was it? XRPT. These were indicating we might see a bigger upside, even though we have limited candles. Right there, not too shabby. Yeah, some of those are on the list here today. It's interesting to me that crypto kind of running, but we look at BTCD, as I mentioned. This is the warning. We're coming into the end. If we see this thing flush on down, right here, similar to what we did. If we get this big flush out and we make a lower high, it's probably signaling the end is near. So if this BTC.D develops into a bigger, nastier candle, we get a little bounce, lower high. Probably the end. There you go. Nah. I'm not going to tell you what I had to check on, but I got a lot of things going on. I got an alert. I had to check on something. I didn't want to lose money. I can't trade on this computer. Anyway. I don't like to lose money. All right. Dollar. Hanging out here. As we mentioned, we held this downtrend. Potentially coming back up right here. We had a little pause. Not even a 600 retrace. Didn't do that yet. So potential to rally back up in here. Apple. A absolutely beautiful correction if we can do the C. Hanging out under the roadmap line is not bullish. Be careful on Apple. Amazon is hanging out up here. This has the same A, B, C, but it is pushing up and starting to tip the odds that we're going to see a performance to the upside here. Similar to what we see on Microsoft and NVIDIA. Google, same ABC potential. This resistance right here. If we can get above that, though, we could tip the odds we're going higher, but this would look best with an absolutely beautiful correction, ABC. Meta, even though we came up high, came up all the way back to retest the high. The way this kind of bounced down, be careful. We've got support right here. If we bust through it, probably coming back down to the 500 area. Might be violent. Microsoft, as I talked about, like we are hunting this 508 area. We tagged it. Now we've set up the perfect kind of ability to come back and back test the breakouts. Could correspond with Apple pulling back, Amazon pulling back, Google pulling back, Meta pulling back. You name it. Then we have potential to go on up higher. If we can hold the breakouts, that would push Microsoft to 565. NVIDIA, and this one may be the one we're waiting on. 176, 177. Tag that. Come back test the breakout. Same as Microsoft. And then going up. Higher level 212 up there. Tesla. This one's got multiple of those ABC potential. Absolutely beautiful correction setups. That one came down, stopped dead cold at the resistance, then did a little mini pullback, retrace, stopping cold at resistance again, came down but fell short of the downside target. So this actually could be setting up another one, another little nested ABC. So we may see this all play out in some sort of drop down to this 270, 260, maybe even 250, 260, 270 area right there. We may see a flush, and that may happen on earnings. Historically, we've had more negative earnings reactions than we have positive earning reactions on Tesla. And I'll go through that next week. Yeah, next week. We'll talk about that next week. Coming up soon, though, we've got 1, 2, 3 market days. 3 market days left to the earnings call. Netflix, as I said, probably going to be working on its way back down to the roadmap line. It's not a long way, just $150 or so. Not a long way. Let's see what happens. See what happens. That was beautiful on that earnings right there. Pop kept on running. So we've kind of run that one out and due for retrace, and it may do something like we did right back here. We tend to repeat. Look at that so far, that drift down. So we may chop a little bit and then get a bigger drop off. They tend to do the same thing over and over and over. I mean, look, same sort of pattern, same sort of pattern, same sort of pattern. It's just stocks tend to do the same kind of corrections. It kind of chopped down a little bit and then rolled on off. It just happens to be the way that Netflix corrects. Right? The same traders tend to trade these stocks over and over and over with the same reactions and the same algorithms, they tend to do the same patterns. You never thought about it like that. That's why I usually compare the same moves on the same stock and don't necessarily go cross stocks. Anyway, looking for opportunities today. Talon, look at that, going for the 346, probably retested the breakout. That's that classic pattern right there. We did this. There was the high right there. Here's the low right here. We did the expansion up into the 1272, retested the breakout, and we're going for the extension. Classic price action. ETHU probably coming on up. So looking at this right here, where might we top out? Got this low, we got this high, we got this low. 145 is the caution area. If we stop here, I know this is leverage. Leverage stuff doesn't always follow the patterns. Be careful. Leverage is not always the right thing, but that can be a ABC, absolutely beautiful correction, and we get continuation lower if we stop right there at 150. Now, if we push on through, 300 is the potential upside, and then we could see a big pullback and then hold that and go for the blow off top. But if we just stop right here, turn down, watch out. I'm actually positive this again, like above 113. Like when I bought back here before the reverse split, when we were at, this was like, I don't know, wherever I bought. And then it reverse split on me. And then I had a cost basis of $112 a share. So now I'm actually positive. So I may liquidate that. You're like, thank you for putting my money back. And anyway, HES shopping around. I see no clarity, lower highs coming across here. Nothing I would count on. ONC running up 304, possibly 319 above that. NSC What we got cooking here? Good looking. Norfolk Southern. Yeah, we had Union Pacific on here yesterday. This just choppy sideways, like not really breaking out, not really breaking down, not really. It didn't do like it. It never did that run. So it's more into a long-term consolidation here. Now like that's 3 up, 3 down. It's probably still gonna get just based on that nasty price action, that nasty price action, this nasty price action, this. It's probably gonna do a dip. That would be what I've. Coinbase reaching on up. 1272. That 1618 up there at 600. If we can keep pushing her higher, be careful. Anything over 445, we may get a negative reaction here. Might get another pullback. People that have been holding since over here are positive. Of course, they may hold on because they're insane. They held through that whole thing. But we'll see. App loving so far, holding above the roadmap line so far. Upward bias, gonna have to break above that prior high right over there to indicate we're coming on up to that 602 target. And if app loving breaks down below the roadmap line, probably coming down here in an absolutely beautiful correction. ETHT, that one ripping too. XXRP, that one blasting on off. Watch out for 68 up here. That's the one, XXRP. I thought I typed that in earlier. UXRP. Boy, there's a bunch of leveraged XRP. If you think XRP is blasting off, there you go. UNG. LNG. That thing went dead. Just chopping in here. Watch for retrace back down to that 225 area. Seems to have a lot of trouble. If we can break out, there we go. On the upside, about 270. And circle. Be careful. Could we push higher? 350, maybe. Maybe this is just a pause on the path to further exponential. Not sure. Hooks. Oh man, hood must be. Type the letters in the right order. And we're pushing on out. Above the 1618. Next target's up 180 and 240. Now, a lot of times we see it come up into this zone in here. I don't have a solid fib line that goes in there, but I think it's basically the 200% extension. Let's see. Let me turn that on and see. I bet you it's the 200%. Dang it. Clicked on the wrong button. There we go. Let's just do this one to color it red. Ah, yep, there it is. I knew it. So we may see this rally on up to this 200% extension right here. Maybe I should keep that on there. I don't know. A lot of times we see it come up just shy of the 2.272 and then turn down. I think that's the 100% extension right there, that 200%. So watch out for that resistance. Oh, hood right there. Where were we? Chevron. So they're supposed to buy out Hess. If I understand what I saw come across the blotter this morning. Chevron settled whatever thing with ExxonMobil, and then now they're gonna try to acquire Hess. I don't know. Let's see what happens, I guess. I got no opinion on it right now. They all look like corrective garbage. There's potential for this to bust on out, but it's a whole lot of lower highs. XOM. a whole lot of lower highs. And HES, whole lot of lower highs. VLO, that's the best looking one out of the bunch of them. See that series of lower highs, this is actually breaking out. MMM. Resistance up here, 175. MEIP. Well, that's biotech biotech pharma. Not trading it. Look at this reverse split hiding in here. Garbage. 2x leverage on hood. 2x leverage on hood. Baba. Get a little bounce action. Might be wrong on this one. I was thinking that probably going to come down. Maybe in this 80 area. Not wrong yet. I mean, I might get something wrong though. Maybe. So we've got resistance hanging out right here, right where we are, right where the prior high was. If we get continuation, this could drop out pretty viciously, pretty quick. LU, probably keeping higher. Next target up. Let me just turn that to. Well, that's interesting. Let's just draw a new one. Yeah, so watch out for that resistance at 300, 376, 500. We may do something like that. If we're going higher, BMNR. We've talked about this one. Probably going to drop back down. That hype train's probably over. CRISPR. We went a little deeper than I drew, and then now we're coming up that there is an 80 resistance area where we've topped out a couple times. Watch out. And then this may continue this choppiness. Palladium, still looking for upside at 120 area. EETH, keep rocking, baby. Let's see this break out and go. Let's go. Got to get through somewhere in that 75 area to go higher. FUTU, 191. IBKR. I just got a ETHV. 64, 69 above that. Watch for the retrace. That was your entry was back here. There's your target. More aggressive target. Really aggressive target. We're going straight up. Straight up usually results in straight back down like this. So be careful. Hood, we already talked about. Meso. Well, hood. Yeah, more ridiculous targets. Meso. So be careful here. This could be absolutely beautiful correction that takes us back down to the single digits. XRPT. Beautiful pop. Connell leverage coin. This is not broken out yet, but we may see this rally up into this 115 area. You know, anything over 100 is gravy. Consider getting out if you got it long. Schwab. Popping, baby. This one's probably hitting the 200% right now. Although, let's do it off the highest high and the lowest low. And there's 98 resistance right there. PDD. Still bearish for Timu. Getting some sympathy on Baba, but still bearish. BZAI. Nasty. Be careful. Galaxy Digital. I'm not touching that. BX. Nice rally, but we're coming up into this point where A, B, absolutely beautiful correction. If we stop right there, that's the first move down. Absolutely beautiful correction. Takes us back lower. So be careful. This is the point where we might stop and reverse trend down. This is a correction. Continuation lower. Now, if we get through this prior high, this resistance low, we had a gap down in there and all that stuff. If we get through that, look for 217 on the upside here. GDXU coming back down to the roadmap line. DPST potentially bounced. Target up here, 142. ALAB. The list is pretty long today. Chopping around right above the roadmap line. If we can push it higher, 173 target. APH played out. Watch for the retrace. Newegg. Reverse split. Reverse splits aren't healthy, so be careful. It's running on some kind of meme stock hype here and may break down. I don't think they just magically change the fortunes of the company there. Fidelity Ethereum ETF. So we have some 43 to 52 upside there. APPX. Be careful. It's like 2x leverage on AppLovin. If we go down on AppLovin, this is going to come down pretty violently. BobX, 2x leverage on BABA. If we come down on BABA, that's going to be pretty violent there. I just deleted that off the list. Cool. And Ethereum trying to recover there with the market cap. Spotify, watch for this too. This got right to the 1618 right there. Watch for that to come back down to the roadmap line. I've been pretty bullish on Spotify, but we need the pullback. That's trend, pullback, continuation, pullback, continuation, pullback, continuation, indefinitely. SRPT, looking for this to drop on down. BKSY. Nah, I don't got much to say. We've got this big resistance up here. And we might go back up there. It's got the reverse split in here, 8 for 1. So that's why the SPAC price is 80 instead of 10. So this thing, they did their SPAC and plummeted in value, had a reverse split to stay listed. And now we have this potential move up off the low, but it looks pretty bad. Yeah. We could just rally back up in here and then come back down again. Ultra long Netflix getting whacked. May come back to the roadmap line. YHC. Reverse split. Absolute garbage, man. Just be careful. It's another Netflix leverage long. That may come back down to this 40 area. Down in here. Elevance. Wow. Come on, baby. It's like healthcare is going to be one of the worst performers this year. ALV, and that's the Dow for you, right? DJI. Wow. Recovered pretty nicely, even though United Healthcare is suffering. Right back up at highs. So watch out. This one, same as the S&P. We might get a bigger correction. BLCN, it's nasty. Ingersoll Rand. Let's clean up the charts. Here's the high, here's the low. We're at that resistance. So this could be an absolutely beautiful correction to a lower low. Be careful. I would not be bullish on that. ARCX. QBTS. Yeah. Be careful. Be careful on leverage, as I've said. Be careful on leverage. LCID. LCID. Looks like it's coming back. That looks like it topped out. That would not surprise me to come back down. RGTX. And leverage. D-Pro. Dragonfly. Reverse split. Garbage. Be careful. There's the low. There's the high. Here's the low. We're in the... So this is trend. Hard to argue that's not the trend for years. 1, 2, 3. Pullback. Absolutely beautiful. Correction. Resumption of trend. Don't get involved in that crap. Don't get sucked in. All right, stuff that's actually set up for potential entry today. This one kicked off back here. Boom, 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 boom. So we kicked it off right here with a potential for 105. But then we just did a little baby. I don't like the way, personally, I don't like the way this is flattening out. Potentially going to roll over. But to each their own. 58 trades, 79. So this is, that's good. Anything over 30 is a statistical population. This one, I personally like to look for over 80. That's 79. It's just a check. It's better than the 74 average. And I like to look over for profit factors over 2. This one's 1.8. That's still better than the 1.2, like 1.25 average, 1.24 average. So that one's good. So this is a reasonable upside potential. 100 and 105 if you go for the bigger bounce back here. 105. Not bad. AI, C3 AI. Got this high, we got this low, we got this entry right here, and 31.55 target. This one, these numbers mean nothing. So the historical average is 74% win rate and change, and 1.2 for profit factor. So that'd just be an average potential, and 31.50 on the upside there. And this didn't trigger this algorithm in TradingView. So this was a Python triggered only. I do search for them in 2 different ways. So next up, we've got FA, First Advantage. Another one that goes back to the historical average. These numbers mean nothing because it's not a statistical population. 1959 target right there. And that one's good right there. Lunar. Twin of Machines. Maybe it's going to do, maybe this one tries to catch up to Rocket Lab here. I don't know. The actual target for this though. See, we're below that bigger 618 there. If we break through that, 30 would be the target. This one right here though, only shooting for like 12, 13, shoot for 13. And it's already like most of the way there. Be careful. There we go. Put it on the actual highs. So 13.75. Then if we get through the 14.65, 618. So this may pop up. Be careful. We may see this pop up through, retrace before we bounce on with the bigger move. But again, statistics don't mean anything on Lunar. PPAT. Here's the high, here's the low, here's the entry. Looking for 19 on the upside. QSR. Here's the high, here's the low, there's the entry. Looking for 73.50 on the target. And RDNT. Yeah, here's the high, here's the low. Nasty, flat, slightly descending. Not my favorite. Doesn't mean it won't work. It's just not my favorite. Put these on the actual. Yeah, 62.50. This has been a pretty good one in the past. Like, doesn't really mean anything with only 15, so it's worked well, but 15 trades is not a statistical population to base future results on. The historical, 74% of the time, 1.24. So this is 74% likely. All right, that's the ones that fired off in my Python searching tool last night. Bias for the day. Grinding on up. Like, as I've said it seems like I'm just a broken record. We're just going to keep on grinding till we get up to this magic level, and then we'll see what happens. Do we break on higher? Do we get some blow off top action? Do we get some super excitement? Go parabolic? Or do we come back down and retest the roadmap line? Or retest the breakouts before we go on up here, and then retest, and then go up here. We'll see. I still think below 4 before we go above 7. That's still where I am. I don't think we're blowing out above 7. Hey, Charlie. Good to see you at Caleb's parking lot. RV in the road. All right. Thanks for coming, everybody. I appreciate it. I'm going to go get into some other stuff here, manage some trades. I'll be back again, same bad time, same bad channel Monday morning. We'll do it all again. Have a great day. Be careful. The account you save may be your own. And remember, it's not being wrong that costs you money. It's staying wrong